Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. A 13th minute goal from Calafiori after a goalkeeping error. And the Gunners with a big 3 points at Old Trafford to begin the season. Mark Donaldson alongside Stevie Nicol to go over events in Manchester. Stevie, let's start with Arsenal. It's a massive 3 points for them. Probably earned without being at their best. Defending well near the end. What did you make of their overall performance?
Well, in terms of going forward, it certainly wasn't a championship-winning performance. But I think the key is defensively. Absolutely, it was a championship-winning defence today. You know, that's why they've got 3 points. And we knew this coming into the game. We know how strong Arsenal can be defensively, and today they proved it. And yes, United had some shots at goal. But never at any stage did anybody in a red jersey have a free shot. They were always under pressure. Defenders were always close by, pushing them in narrowing angles. And probably the one free header that Buemo got in the second half, Raya comes up with a great save. So, you know what? It's nice to win games of football, scoring lots of goals. But sometimes you've got to win because of your defence. And there's absolutely no question today. It was all about defending for Arsenal. And then, of course, the set piece, there's a surprise, and they win 1-0.
What about Manchester United's performance? Because it was a lot better than what we saw last season. Okay, no goals. They did introduce Šeško, who came on. What about their overall play and the sense of enthusiasm that Man United fans should have for the new season, even although they lost this one?
Yeah, I mean, there was certainly definitely a different feel about this United performance. You know, they were the team that were pushing forward. They were the team that was asking all the questions of Arsenal. And all Arsenal were getting were little breaks when the ball was turned over. So, yeah, this definitely was a different Man United. But you can say that, but you can also say, you know what, you bring in 3 forwards and you still don't win the coconut. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're on top and you're dominating, you have to score goals. You have to take advantage of that. And quite honestly, as much as they looked capable and the crowd got behind them every time they went forward, you know, they really didn't create a clear chance where you're saying that should have been a goal. So, yeah, it was better going forward. But you know what? Being better isn't good enough. When you dominate the game as much as United did, being better, as I said, isn't enough. It's goals you need. And they have to figure that one out.
Arsenal did more today with less of the ball than United did with a lot more of the ball. And ultimately, that was the difference. What about the goal? The corner kick comes in. Calafiori's got the final touch just before it crosses the line, but it's on Bindier, the goalkeeper. Do Manchester United have 3 goalkeepers, any of them that are good enough to be Premier League calibre and as where they want to be, perhaps challenging for a European spot with Onana, with Bindier, and with Tom Heaton?
Well, I think the answer to that is pretty straightforward, and that would be a no. Listen, we know last season Onana just seemed to get worse as the season progressed. He's injured at the moment. You put Bindier in, and he makes that mistake that cost him the game. And your only other option is Tom Heaton, who's nearly as old as I am. So, yeah, that's definitely a problem for United. But right now, as we just spoke about, the problem for United looks to be where are the goals coming from?
Mm-hmm. They haven't beaten Arsenal now since September 2022 in a competitive fixture. We spoke earlier after the Chelsea Palace game about not overreacting, knee-jerk reactions after week 1 when it hasn't worked, so it's not going to work. There's a long way to go. What were the positives for Manchester United today?
Listen, the only thing that was missing was the goal. You know, I thought they defended well. Take Bindier's nightmare from the set piece out. I thought they defended well. They controlled the middle of the park. Declan Rice was invisible today. Probably wasn't 100% fit, to be honest. I'm guessing that's why he came off. and they looked capable going forward. Listen, I think if you're a United fan, you've got to look at the big picture. Think about how you felt last season, particularly at home. The amount of times that they were beaten at home, and coming off the field and leaving the stadium, everybody was like lower than a snake's belly. Today, I would suggest Man United fans should be thinking about the big picture and looking at today. And as we spoke about earlier, the atmosphere on the field. The United fans always get behind the team, but the atmosphere on the field, the way the players went about it today is exactly how United should go about it. Now they have to put the finer points on the end of the organisation. They were well organised today, certainly against Arsenal on the break. I never really felt Arsenal were going to get another goal. So they were organised, they were disciplined generally, and they got themselves forward and got themselves in the attacking third. So I think if you're a United fan, and again, go back to how you felt last season, totally deflated, wondering when are we going to turn the corner. Listen, yes, you get beat today, but you've definitely turned the corner in terms of the way you've gone about the game. So yeah, they absolutely, in my opinion, deserve to win the game, but they didn't. And so that has to be the next step. Another dominating performance, but now you have to add the goals and get the 3 points and then start building again.
The atmosphere before kick-off in the first 10 minutes, that was the atmosphere that most of us remember Old Trafford being like. That's the atmosphere you want. And Arsenal did their bit today to quieten down the crowd, and they did it well despite not being at their best. And that might be even more special for Mikel Arteta to get all 3 points. What about some of the new players, including the 2 new strikers, one for each team? Gyökeres lasted an hour for Arsenal, and then Šeško came on after 65 minutes. What did you make of those 2 today?
I thought in the commentary they were a little harsh on Gyökeres. I mean, the way Arsenal performed, what are they expecting Gyökeres to do? I mean, I'm sorry, he ran, he fought. He's not there to run. He's not there to run around and fight. He's there to put the ball in the back of the net. And if you don't give him an opportunity to do that, then you can't go criticising the guy. So I really don't understand that. You could have stuck Gerd Müller up top for Arsenal today and he wouldn't have scored a goal. So I would...
That's one for the teenagers.
I know. So yeah, I mean, that was never going to happen. Šeško, listen, he's coming on late in the game. It's crowded. There's not a lot of room. He's going to have to battle for things. So to be honest, the 2 players you're talking about, I don't think either of them should be judged on what we saw today. Because, as I said, for Gyökeres, no service, and Šeško really didn't get an opportunity to get into the game or have an opportunity in the penalty box just because of the numbers.
Speaking of opportunities, Arsenal's defence don't give up much, do they? Last season, they had the best defensive record, and looks like again that's what they're going to build on, another decent defensive display from a unit that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and anybody watching this should always remember, defending. Listen, if you can win the ball, that's great. But defending is not just about winning the ball. Defending is about affecting the play. And if you can't win the ball and you can't take the ball off your opponent and you can't stop him getting a shot off, then try and put him in a position where he's got not a lot to shoot at. He's at a bad angle. You're going to be tight enough where you can get him off balance. And that's what Arsenal defenders did today. It wasn't perfect, but it was effective. And the saves that Raya made, other than the header from Bomo, then he absolutely should have saved them. And that was because defensively, they affected the striker who was having the shot at goal. That's huge.